Walking into my high school math class on a Monday morning, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a ruler. There was Miser Thompson, 17, sitting at my desk holding a test paper with a big red 100% at the top, and all eyes in the room felt like they were drilling through me. Getting a perfect score in Mr. Grayson's advanced math class was like spotting a unicorn. No one had done it before, and since it was me, the old man didn't take it well. He stood at the front, tapping his marker on the whiteboard so hard I thought it might break, squinting at my paper like it was some kind of code, then flat out said, "This is impossible." The idea that a black girl from the east side could pull this off seemed like fiction to him. The class reacted, some stifled laughter, others frozen, and I sat there, jaw clenched and heart pounding, knowing exactly what he meant even though he was too scared to say it directly. He paced, going on about how no one had ever aced his test, then looked me in the eye and questioned how I could suddenly outscore everyone. Every word hit like a punch. I said I'd studied, that he'd given us the review sheet, but he cut me off sharply saying, "There's no way you did it fairly." The room gasped, and I felt all my hard work vanish in an instant. Then he accused me outright. "Are you accusing me of cheating?" Before I could answer, he said, "I am." Laughter came from Logan and his friends. Macy covered her mouth, fake shocked but grinning. My hand shook as I told him it wasn't true, that I'd always been good at math, but he wasn't listening. He waved my paper around, demanding I explain every answer, show my notes, prove it on the spot. I tried to explain that most of the work was done in my head, which sounded wild but was just how I learned. But he scoffed sarcastically. "Oh, so you're magically solving calculus," turning to the class, acting like this was a circus. He slammed a blank sheet on my desk and told me to redo the problems then and there. It wasn't about math, it was about putting me in my place. So I looked at him, then at Logan and Macy, and asked, "Why don't you make them do it too?" He went quiet, eyes hard. "They didn't get a perfect 100. You did." The humiliation crawled up my spine, but then it hit me. It wasn't about the grade, it was about who got the grade. So I said clearly, "Maybe you just can't believe. A black girl is smarter than your favorite students." The room was silent. His face turned crimson. He sneered, "Call me ridiculous," and said he'd report me. Then Principal Dean came in alone, scanning the room before calling me out. "Miss Thompson, come with me." My legs shook as I followed him to the hallway, where Ms. Perez, the guidance counselor, waited by a laptop. Without a word, Dean played. Security footage showing Grayson rifling through our graded tests before class, lingering on mine, muttering, then pulling out his phone to text, shaking his head, saying, "There's no way she's that smart." I clenched my fists. Dean told me they'd reviewed past footage too. This wasn't the first time he'd done this. Ms. Perez leaned in gently but firmly. "You're not in trouble. Mr. Grayson is." The classroom door burst open again as Grayson, red-faced, yelled that the footage meant nothing. Dean stared him down. "It means everything." Grayson scoffed, clinging to his power, but Dean didn't flinch. "You're officially suspended, effective immediately." Security escorted him out, and no one defended him. Dean turned to me, his serious face softening into a proud smile. "And you, Miss Thompson, have just earned a full-ride scholarship." My jaw dropped. "Wait, what?" He nodded and said academic organizations were impressed by my resilience and talent. My head was spinning. This didn't feel like justice. It felt like karma with a megaphone. By lunchtime, the story had spread through every hallway. Some kids looked shocked. Others said they'd seen it coming. Suddenly, messages poured in. "Congrats, girl, you showed him." For a moment, I felt unstoppable. But across the cafeteria, Logan and Macy sat with their usual crew, glaring at me like I'd taken something that didn't belong to me. Logan stood, his voice low but cutting through the noise. "Biggest scam of the year." I tried to brush it off until he turned to me and shouted, "Yo, Zara, how's it feel to play the victim and get rewarded for it?" The cafeteria fell. Silent. I stood up, my hand steady this time. The only one exposed was Grayson. I earned that grade. "Just because you couldn't beat me doesn't mean I cheated." His lip curled in disgust. "Please, you just got lucky," I fired back. "Oh yeah? Where was my luck when Grayson ignored me, when I had to work twice as hard to even be seen? Or are you just mad a black girl outsmarted you?" The silence that followed said it all. His face flushed and he stomped away with Macy trailing behind. A few kids clapped, some gave nods, but I didn't need validation. I'd already won. The next morning, the auditorium was packed, students, teachers, even parents. Principal Dean took the stage and didn't sugarcoat it. Mr. Grayson had been suspended for discrimination and bias. Gasps filled the room, but Dean went on, saying this wasn't just about one teacher. It was about the kind of school we chose to be. Lincoln High would never judge students on anything but their ability. Then he said my name, told me to stand. My legs trembled, but I rose, head high. Dean said I hadn't just stood up for myself, but for fairness and dignity, and that real change was already happening. He announced my full academic scholarship to any university I chose. The crowd erupted. Cheers, applause, even teachers wiping away tears. I couldn't help but smile. In trying to tear me down, Grayson had just handed me a bigger platform than I ever imagined. And maybe that's what justice looks like. Or maybe karma. I don't know. What do you think? Is it enough? Or is there still more to fix in places like ours? Let me know in the comments. And if you believe in standing up for what's right, share your story too.